need. I put corner our second need just because, we brought in a really talented corner. We have Ward and Greedy, even though Greedy has some question marks. I feel like
and Ward too. That's the thing with Ward. Ward has not proven that he can stay healthy an entire 16 games.
Well, and the one thing I have to think about with Ward too is size. Like Ward is not a versatile player, right? He does one thing really well. He plays that number one corner slot really well. And so I think we have a guy as our defensive coordinator in Woods who wants players who are versatile. And that's one of the reasons why, I didn't knock you on Zaven Collins, even though he's a linebacker in the first round. Like, I think he really likes versatile players. And so I went with a corner, Ifeatu Melifonwu, who is 6'2", 212, one of the biggest corners in the draft.
I love this guy.
He's long, he's rangy, he's athletic, he's physical. He has all the tools you want out of a prospect at this place. In the second round, I think he's really a steal, I feel like. He's somebody who absolutely could come over and play free safety if needed to. He's a guy that can absolutely play outside. I guess like my biggest question marks for him is his ability to play zone coverage. I think like sometimes his coverage spacing is inconsistent. I think sometimes his play is a little inconsistent. And so I kind of see why he would be available here in the second round. But I really think he's the ideal fit for our system. I think like moving into the next level, having guys like JJ3 and Denzel Ward to help him grow in terms of his route anticipation, things like his coverage spacing. I think this is where we should go in the second round. And the reason I didn't pick Caleb Farley as my first rounder is because I feel like there is depth in this draft at the secondary position that not everybody's talking about, right? Like most people are talking about the other side of the football when they think about depth in this draft. I think Melifonwu would be an excellent Brown, and that's who I got for the second round. What do you think?
I would draft him just from name value alone. I love that last name, but no, I really like that pick. If he's there, I'm not like, you know what I mean? Like with your first two picks, I'm not arguing with them. I'm not saying you like guys I don't like. No, I absolutely love a big corner that can get physical and, lock down. And one thing I want to point out though, when you're talking about his weaknesses, same thing with my boy, Zaven Collins' weaknesses. These guys didn't play for SEC schools. So who's to say that legit good NFL coaching can't fix some of these weaknesses? Because the best coaches are not coaching at Tulsa and they're not coaching at Virginia Tech. These guys at Syracuse, sorry. You know what I mean? I think a lot of good coaching, good smart coaching at the NFL level can fix a lot of these weaknesses because these guys may not be getting the greatest coaching because they didn't play for the biggest, most prestigious schools where the better college coaches are trying to be. And no, I like that guy. He was one of the guys when I was looking at it, like I had to make, because you made your list first and I had to be a little bit different from you, So, but no, I like the pick. Now, I'm going to go to my third round pick here, my first third round pick at pick number, 91. This is a guy, you actually brought him to my attention. I love everything about this guy. I'm going Demetric Felton, running back, UCLA. Now, when I say running back, there's a slash up in there because this guy can play wide receiver at the Senior Bowl. He practiced with the wide receivers, and he didn't look out of place at all. I've always, like, the biggest thing with this offseason has been I like all of our wide receivers. But at the same time, I wanted a little something different to be tweaked there. So if we're keeping this group, and I like him, like I couldn't really find a guy I really like. Why is he here? You know what I mean? Like I like all of our guys. This guy's a fire plug. You could do gadget plays with him. He can spell, you know what I mean, hunt. He can. I wouldn't say that he could replace Chubb because that's a complete. They play totally different positions there. But when he's on the field, he is a weapon, and he needs to be accounted for. I would love it if we took this guy. I love everything about him. This would be if my draft board went exactly the way it is, this might be my favorite pick right here, just because of the possibilities, the lower expectations, because he would be third on the running back depth chart. He wouldn't be high up on the wide receiver depth chart either. But when he's on the field, you have to watch this dude because he's on that field for a fucking reason.
Yeah, I'll have just a little bit to say to add on to what you've already said. Like I also picked this guy, but not in the third round. It just reminds me of playing football in high school because I know the biggest struggles my team had was with these little scat backs, right? These little guys that could do a couple different things, and they were the hardest to like figure out where they were at. They with how much we are adjusting before the ball is hiked. I think this guy fits that mold so well. I think like at 5'8", like he reminds you of Darren Sproles a little bit. Like I see so much in Demetric Felton that I really like, and there's a reason why very early I sent you a highlight tape on this guy because it was fun to watch, to do some research on this guy, Demetric Felton. I think for me, like you drafting him in the third round, like doesn't upset me at all. I just think we could get him later. And
right.
So that,
I just don't want to fuck around with it. I want this guy bad. I want this dude on my team badly. And that's why I'm taking him at 3. I don't care if it's a reach.
Yeah. So for the third round, I went linebacker. I think every indication Barry has given me is this is where he likes to get a linebacker. And I'm going with Baron Browning. Like, come back home, pick up the versatile linebacker from Ohio State. I think in a 4-3, I think he could play all the linebacker spots in the 4-2 that we're going to run. I think he'll be an excellent pickup. I do think he has a lot to learn in the pro game, but you can't say he didn't play against some excellent talent. I mean, Ohio State was playing against the best teams in football, and even though his game was inconsistent at times, I feel like Browning is the pick here. Like, this is going to be absolutely a project for us, but we have not shied away from Jacob Phillips as a project. I think Jacob Phillips is getting to a place where we're expecting a lot more out of him this year.
Should be a starter if we don't address linebacker in the first round.
And I do think that, Mac Wilson sure looks like a guy we are not going to hold on to. And I don't know if we should. Like, after his rookie season, I just didn't see a lot out of Mac that I really liked. And so I see us moving on, and I think Baron Browning is absolutely the type of guy, like at 6'3", 241, that Andrew Berry really likes at linebacker. And so that's where I'm going with the third round.
Yeah, no arguments here. It's just not going to happen.
So let's hit that fourth round. What are you thinking we're doing in the fourth round?
Well, I'm not on the fourth round yet because I didn't trade away my pick.
All right. So let's hear it.
So I'm going to go with another edge here, but a guy who's a bit of a tweener. And I know we're not drafting 2 edges, okay? I'm going best player available. And I honestly, I'm looking at my draft board right now and being like, son of a bitch, why did I take another edge? But I really like this kid a lot, and he does not get nearly as much hype as his other 2 teammates from his school, but I like a lot of what I see, and that is Quincy Roche from a defensive end from Miami. I think, he's probably better fit for a 3-4, but I honestly, right now, and I'm not trying to bash the guy too much just because I think there is a chance he winds up on our team, especially if he's there at 26. But I like him. I like everything that he does a lot better than Russo. I think he's very underrated. If you look at Russo, a lot of his sacks are not coming off the edge; they're coming through the nose. And this guy just has the burst, the size, the speed. I like everything about him, and in fact, I wouldn't be shocked if this guy surprises a lot more, and he's a lot higher. He's taken a lot higher in the draft. I really like Quincy Roche.
Yeah, I mean, I just haven't heard a lot about him, and so I couldn't tell you a whole lot. I didn't do my research on Roche, but I do think there's a reason why he's fallen to the latter half of the third round, and his teammates are up there talking about first round picks. But I'll give it to you. If we can get a really good edge rusher in the third round, I'm all for it.
Yeah. All right, so let's hear your fourth round pick now. Pick
All
one,
right.
two, or did you trade one of our fours too? I mean, what are you doing here?
No, I did not. I did not, because I got a plan for both fourth rounders. The first one, I'm thinking Felton goes right around the middle of the fourth round, if not in the fifth round. I think his size is a concern for a lot of teams.
Good, because I'm taking third.
And so for me, like, the things that really shine for Felton are he's explosive when he has the ball. I think he's patient. He waits for his blocks. I think he's faster than we see on tape. I think he has instincts and vision that are going to translate into a lot of productivity. He grinds it out inside. He keeps his feet moving. He breaks arm tack. Like, there is nothing I can say about this guy other than he's 5'8", that distracts me from taking him at a place like the fourth round. So
I like that he's 5'8", though. I don't know why. I like everything about this dude. I love this dude.
Yeah. So I'm going to my second fourth round pick just because we've already talked enough about Felton. And this is a guy I've been talking to you about since the draft started. I love looking at tape on secondary. And so I have a corner here for our second pick in the fourth round. I think we're at 132. And I don't know, like, I've seen this guy mocked as high as the third round, and I've seen him mocked where he wasn't even chosen. And in looking at tape over this guy, like, I just don't understand it. He's 6'3", he's 205 pounds. It is Israel Mukuamu, and he plays the outside corner position on the other side of Joe Horn this year. And I watched tape, and a lot of guys did not want to throw to Joe Horn's side. I've read a lot about these SEC coaches that said, that they were more scared of Joe Horn than anybody. And so Israel Mukuamu got a whole lot of opportunities to make plays. And watching the tape on this guy, like, I just don't understand how anybody could mock a draft where this guy doesn't have a home. Like, in looking at it, for me, like, my personal opinion, he's one of the top 5 corners in this draft. There's a whole lot of corners that I feel like that are going to go ahead of him that just don't have his talent. I think he's another versatile corner where we could teach him how to play free safety. He's huge. And I'd say, like, the one knock on him is he doesn't play to his size. Like, in watching his tape, you see him, like, almost scrunching down a bit to kind of, like, fit a smaller cornerback's frame. But I just saw him as, like, a ball hawk. I felt like he was great in zone coverage. I thought he was rangy. Just the wingspan on this guy, I think, is worth drafting him high. And like he played a lot of football where you saw him